From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, October the 29th, 2025. An IDF reservist was killed yesterday in Gaza. He is 37-year-old Master Sergeant in Reserve, Yonah Ephraim Feldbaum. Feldbaum was operating an excavator when he was shot and killed by snipers who also opened fire at a building being used by Israeli troops in the area of Rafah yesterday afternoon, the terrorists violating the ceasefire agreement. Israel responded to the violations, which also included terror group Hamas's staging, as we reported to you, of a so-called discovery of remains the previous day. The IDF said following the violations, it hit dozens of terrorists in Gaza, including high-level commanders. Among them, it said, a company commander who led the raid on Kibbutz Ein HaShlosha during the murderous massacre by the Hamas terrorist organization on October the 7th. The IDF also hit terror infrastructure, including observation posts, it wrote, a weapons production site, rocket and mortar launch positions, and underground terror tunnels. Following the military strikes, the IDF said today it has begun the renewed enforcement of the ceasefire in response to Hamas violations, vowing to continue to uphold the ceasefire agreement, saying it will respond firmly to any violation of it. Turning now to the 39th World Zionist Congress, which kicked off last night in Jerusalem, Israel's President Isaac Herzog addressed the opening session where he reiterated that Hamas must fulfill its obligation to disarm and to return all of the remains of the 13 hostages still being held in Gaza by the terror group. Herzog emphasized to the global gathering the need to stand strong and united. He said anti-Semitic and anti-Zionist hatred has returned, striking us once again with horrifying and violent force. We saw it unleashed in the horrific terror of October the 7th. We see it on campuses that were supposed to be beacons of enlightenment. We see it on the streets of Manchester, Washington, Toronto, Melbourne, Paris, and many more. But the president stressed, this does not stop us from standing proud as Jews.
The women and men in this hall, across Israel and throughout the Jewish world, we are proud of our Zionism, and we will never forsake it, and we will fight for it and defend it and protect it, and we will remember always, and we will proudly declare, the people of Israel live, Am Yisrael Chai.
The Claims Conference, the Conference on Jewish Material Claims Against Germany, announced today its securing of over $1 billion in home care for Holocaust survivors across the world. This following negotiations with the German government in Berlin. This is said to be the largest social welfare budget in the organization's history. Claims Conference President Gideon Taylor said this historic increase to home care funding reflects the complex and growing needs of Holocaust survivors worldwide. This budget is critical in providing each of them the opportunity to age in place, a dignity that was stolen from them in their youth. Ambassador Colette Avital, who is herself a Holocaust survivor and a member of the Claims Conference negotiating team, said, it is deeply meaningful that 80 years after liberation, the German government maintains its responsibility to those who suffered and survived. Every survivor and every rescuer deserves to live with dignity and to be seen, heard, and cared for. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, October the 29th. At 7 o'clock on a special In the Spotlight, Abigail Pogrebin welcomes lifelong Jewish frontline activist, author, and JBS host David Harris to talk about his new book. At 7:30, the late Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks delivers an address on the dangers of outsourcing morality in the West. At 8 on JLMinute, JNS Bureau Chief Alex Traiman and journalist Josh Hasten break down the week's events in Israel, offering clear, timely news and analysis. At 9, it's part 2 of Aryeh Green on L'chaim. At 10, it's the ILTV's Insider. At 10:30, an encore of the news. And coming up next, it's the landmark 400th episode of Thinking Out Loud with Micah Halpern. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, October the 29th, 2025. I'm Teisha Bader. Am Yisrael Chai.